decades in the making. In fact, diplomatic relations were established immediately following Nigeria's independence from colonialism. And while our bilateral cooperation used to be Hajj-centric, our partnership has since expanded considerably and institutionally, including through the General Agreement on Cooperation, which was signed 2 years ago, which birthed the Nigeria-Saudi Joint Commission, whose members are working tirelessly to conclude more than a dozen MOUs across various fields. Today, Nigeria and Saudi Arabia are close partners with shared goals and strong cooperation through our membership of a number of organizations, most notable of which was OPEC, where Nigeria has played a very important role over many decades, including holding the General Secretariat of that organization for a long, long time. And both of our countries, as giant economies, are strong subscribers and promoters of strong South-to-South cooperation for enhancing trade, investment, and sustainable economic development, which we hope to hear your views on the importance of this emerging as countries in the South assume larger and larger share of the global GDP. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we know that under His Excellency President Tinubu's leadership, Nigeria has embarked on the country's boldest economic reform agenda in decades. Very much mirroring what is happening in Saudi Arabia under the leadership of His Majesty King Salman and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So we have at the heart of the Arab world here on the western edge of Asia, and the anchor and the center of gravity of Africa on the western edge of Africa. Two economies with great set of resources, with visionary leadership on both sides, who are set on this very transformative set of reforms that are quite compatible but complementary in nature, that bode so much promise for not only our countries and our people, but indeed for our regions, as we set the role model and the example of how economic development, prosperity, and putting the interests of the people first is going to result in the future. As I mentioned, Saudi Arabia is already the leading economy in the Middle East and North Africa, but our efforts do not stop there. Through Vision 2030, the kingdom's exciting economic blueprint for the future, we have fixed every ambitious targets for ourselves. One of these is to increase the private sector contribution from 40 to 65% of our GDP by the end of this decade. And that's why the role of these private sector leaders to our left is so central. And for that, they will be looking for partnering with companies from friendly nations like Nigeria to allow this exponential growth and private sector contribution in diversifying our economy.